Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my holiday-loving brother, my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing?
I don't love the holidays.
Yeah, you do.
Alex hates the holidays.
You love the holidays. You don't love the holidays?
I wouldn't say I love them.
I would.
Too much going on. I mean, you got Thanksgiving, Christmas back to back. Nah, I need a longer break than that.
Oh, you're such a baby.
Damn it. I gotta wait a whole year for my birthday.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Your birthday's only like 3 months away.
Yeah, but after that...
Remember what we did on the podcast for your birthday this year?
I do. I remember.
That was fun.
I had a nice big old sandwich.
Perfect.
What episode was that? Like 5?
Yeah.
That was about
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe 6.
Yeah, that was the baby stages of the Positive Sports Podcast.
Man, it's grown to episode 49.
Wow. Famous 49?
Man, the only one I can think of, I'm sure I'm missing one, Tim Wakefield.
Tim Wakefield. I'm thinking of a pitcher as well. Louisiana Lightning. Ron Guidry played for the Yankees.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older, so it seems like I keep pulling from a little bit further back than you do.
Yeah, you're more like a lot of it.
Well, a lot of it, yeah. Whatever.
Football?
Yeah, but before that, folks, if you want to get a hold of us, if you want to share your thoughts and comments on the show, you can reach the show via email, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. As always, I welcome your comments and banter, and you can reach me on Twitter at eMontana21. If you want to get a hold of this guy,
don't be a leader, be a follower on Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 8.
Brooklyn Gaucho 8. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking.
It is new.
Oh.
Fucking Twitter. Don't get me started.
I love bringing that up. That and the Fantasy Lives Matter, pure gold.
They matter. This is an important week. We're heading into the playoff stretch of fantasy football.
That's right. People are all about their fantasy teams now, right? Because everybody's heading into the playoffs. I'll tell you what. A while back, Alvin Kamara couldn't get you the points, right?
Right.
To win. That's what started this whole FLM thing that we talk about. Fantasy Lives Matter. The Saints couldn't get points again this week.
No, they struggled.
The Dallas defense has been good all year. They looked exceptional on Thursday night against the Saints, and they're making the Cowboys look like they could really win this division. I still think they're an 8-8 football team. They're a little bit better than that right now. They're at 7-5, but they're looking pretty good. And that division, I still think it's anybody's for the taking, but certainly Dallas has the inside track.
Yeah, I mean, throw away the fact that the Saints are my Super Bowl pick. I don't look at the Saints any different. I don't look at the Cowboys any different. Then because of that, because I mean, as much as their defense was good, their offense only scored 13 points.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
it does not change my perception of the Saints.
No.
They ran into a team who game planned them well, played well, and they won. Look, I didn't expect the Saints to go 16-0. It does change my perception of the Cowboys a little bit, in that I feel like they have one side of the ball that they can depend on. I think they've gotten to the point now with this defense where they can depend on their defense keeping them in games. But you're right, on the other side of the ball, I'm still not sold. They're still not blowing the doors off of anybody, and I could see them laying an egg at any given time. Yeah. And the problem with this team has been they've been consistently inconsistent.
Right.
And they've broken that streak here the last 3 weeks, but the fact of the matter is that over the last 2 years, really, they've been consistently inconsistent, where they play one good game, and then they play a bad one, and then a good one and a bad one, and back and forth, and that's what they did in the early part of this season. They've ripped off 3 straight. Gives them the inside track to the NFC East, which is not the toughest division in the world to win. So it should be interesting. But I hate to say this, if they do make the playoffs, or anyone else in that division, they're a first round and out.
Yeah, I don't. Again, Jason Garrett is still calling the plays. He's just saving. They've been saving his job here the past couple weeks.
Yep.
I think that's all they've been doing.
And you think he's on the hot seat far more than I do. I think he's the perfect guy for Jerry Jones. A guy who can kind of be told what to do. A guy who can who will defer to Jerry Jones, and I think that's what's going to save his job.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer, even if things go south here at the end of the season. Now, a guy who is not going to be able to save his job, and you made this comment earlier this season, and I didn't think it would happen, but not only is it happening, it happened already. Mike McCarthy out in Green Bay after their loss today to the Arizona Cardinals on a missed field goal as time expired. I never like it when it feels like one guy got the coach fired. And I don't like it here because I think it really does feel like Aaron Rodgers, maybe saying he got him fired is a bit much, but I feel like Aaron Rodgers didn't help him out here. Those two have reportedly been at odds throughout the season, and it's just gotten worse. And what's more is Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like he wants to play. We'll see if that changes next week with Joe Philbin as the interim coach, but it just leaves a dirty aftertaste.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Aaron Rodgers got him suspended, got him fired today. I think the writing was on the wall weeks and weeks ago. So, but
I disagree. I disagree. I think he got him fired today. No. The writing on the wall was that he might be gone at the end of the season, which is much more respectable. But the fact that he got fired today, I think that was Aaron Rodgers. That part of it was Aaron Rodgers.
Possibly, but I mean, look, whatever their record is, not good, and you lose at home to the freaking Cardinals.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to say, "Hey, fire this guy." I think ownership.
Well, but no, he didn't say that. But my point is, I think ownership saw that. Look, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to play for this guy anymore.
Yeah.
He's not going to try, and that's what it looks like at this point. It looks like Aaron Rodgers stopped trying, and and I personally I feel bad for McCarthy because he's been a good coach. He's got 8-10 win seasons. He took him to the Super Bowl twice. He won the Super Bowl once. I mean, he's not a bad coach. He's done something right with Aaron Rodgers. They've done something right. And now, last year they didn't make the playoffs, but Aaron Rodgers was out most of the year with a broken collarbone. Right. This year, he had Aaron Rodgers, but remember, Aaron Rodgers was hurt in the beginning of the year, not as capable as he normally is, and they've had a bunch of injuries. They got rid of Jordy Nelson, or they let Jordy Nelson walk. So I feel like they're doing McCarthy dirty here. They're making him the scapegoat for problems that are maybe bigger than just him. And just kind of not fair.
Well, the coach is always going to go before the franchise quarterback no matter what. Do you think the Patriots, if Tom put in the word, would get Belichick fired?
No.
Like let's just say something happened between them, right? That behind the scenes, and
right.
And Brady said, "You know what? I've had enough of you." He goes to Robert Kraft. "Hey man, I can't work with him anymore.
Trade me or get rid of Belichick."
Yeah, you think they get rid of Belichick?
No, I think they get rid of Brady.
Tom has some power, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Belichick has made it work. I mean, he's been plugging holes in different parts on that team for years.
Okay.
Right? But
so why can't McCarthy do the same thing? Because
McCarthy has.
When you look at the Patriots and the Packers teams, I mean, besides the quarterback, what other name? You know what I'm saying?
But the Packers have had a little bit more talent, I think, on offense than the Patriots have. They've always had a good offensive line.
I mean, if you got to say a little bit more, then it's not enough to say.
I don't think it's I don't think it's night and day by any stretch, but I think it's noticeably more talent on the offensive side of the ball to help Aaron Rodgers than what Brady has gotten over the years.
Yeah.
And the Patriots have grabbed guys that have been problem cases and made them work in their system. So whereas the Packers have built good talent, right? Like Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson. They've had a little bit more. I don't know. I think it's unfortunate. I feel bad for McCarthy, especially in the holidays.
Yeah, that part sucks.
The holiday season.
Now you get to spend more time with your family. So that's actually a good thing.
At least if he had made it through the season, he'd have gotten fired in the new year.
Yeah, but now he gets to spend more time with his family. Think about that.
Yeah, but now there's going to be no Christmas presents underneath the McCarthy tree.
Well, he got paid this whole time, so he should have some money. If he has a good accountant.
Just because he makes a lot of money doesn't mean he doesn't spend a lot of money, Alex.
True. He is kind of big.
I mean, it's going to be pretty quiet in the McCarthy household.
It's not going to be a jolly season for the...
It's not. Don't send season's greetings to Mike McCarthy.
Now, I wonder if Aaron Rodgers will call or text and say, "Hey, Merry Christmas."
Hey, come on over. I know you guys don't have any food in the fridge. come on over and have Christmas dinner.
Hey, I heard through the grapevine you got fired. You want to come over for some eggnog and.
Hey man, if you need a letter of recommendation, if there's anything I can do, let me know. I bet you Aaron Rodgers is sending that text to him right now.
How would that letter of recommendation go? Mike McCarthy, a great coach, but needs a good quarterback.
If you don't have an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback, forget it.
So yeah, moving along. What are we moving along to? What else?
Let's talk NFC playoffs.
NFC, I mean...
Talk about the NFC playoff picture. The Rams clinched the West today. They're in the playoffs.
That's a surprise. I'm surprised by that. They're in the playoffs.
It was a nail biter with the Lions today, but they continue. So you still have the two-headed monster in the NFC that is the Saints and the Rams. The Rams obviously now have the inside track for home field throughout because they are one game ahead of the Saints. And then we talked about Dallas in the NFC East, and then Chicago had a hiccup today. They lost in overtime to the Giants.
Yeah.
But they're still well in command of that NFC North.
Only because
the Lions suck, the Packers just fired their coach, and the Vikings lost to the Patriots.
Right.
Today.
So if the Vikings would have won, I mean, we're playing the if game, but if the Vikings would have won, then it would have made things
a little closer.
Yeah, one game out was still one to play.
That's right. And at this point, a one-game lead's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because we only got 4 games left.
Right.
So Dallas is 1 game up on. They're a game and a half. Well, if the Eagles beat the Redskins tomorrow, they'll be 1 game up on both.
Right.
If the Redskins beat the Eagles, they'll be tied. But Dallas currently has the tiebreaker.
Right.
So obviously, the Eagles winning would provide a little bit more cushion. For them.
Yeah, the team that seems to be really flying under the radar here are the Seahawks. They're somehow 6-5, and in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Seahawks.
I mean,
they've been in every game this season. They haven't been blown out. They haven't blown anyone out. They're right there. Plugging along. Seriously. And they've started to put together a few games here recently.
And when you look at it, right, the Redskins and the Eagles play, they would currently be the 6th seed. And when you look at the teams behind them, the Vikings...
Well, they would be the 6th seed if the Redskins win.
Okay, but I mean...
If they lose, they wouldn't be.
Okay,
right?
But as of now...
Right.
So, and when you look at the teams behind them, the Vikings, the Panthers, who all of a sudden can't win a game... The Eagles, the Buccaneers. I mean, there's really no team that can...
What has happened in Carolina?
They're losing.
Cam Newton got benched.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I mean, what is going on?
Why would you bench Cam Newton?
I saw him... I mean, admittedly, I wasn't watching the game. I just happened to see it off on TV off to the side when I was having lunch today. But he was kneeling down with a helmet next to him while the Carolina offense was on the field. And this was at the end of the game.
Well, the game was over at that point.
No, towards the end of the game,
Oh,
I guess
okay.
is what I should have said. What are you, an English
Well, I was
Nazi?
like, the game was over towards the end.
What are you,
The game was heading to the finish.
all of a sudden, we care about the exact words I'm using? Since when did you become Mrs. Caputo, the English teacher?
Mister.
Mrs.
See, I gotta correct you again.
Mrs. Caputo was my English teacher.
Dude, seriously, the Seahawks might well get in as a 6 seed. And I mean,
I think the Seahawks are going to get in.
And
they just won.
And, you know, I know we're only 4 games left, but the NFC looks like a wrap. Seriously, it almost does look like a wrap. Like I said, look at the teams behind the Seahawks. Vikings,
It's a mess.
Panthers, Eagles, Buccaneers, Packers, Atlanta, Giants, Lions. I mean...
Panthers are still 6-6?
Yeah, I mean, but can we see any of those teams, you know, making a last-minute charge here?
Someone at 8-8 is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and that could be the Seahawks.
Oh no, the Seahawks will do better than that.
They're 6-5.
They're 7-5 right now.
Oh, they're 7-5.
They just finished up against.
Okay. So that changed.
Yeah. Who are they playing today?
The
Niners.
49ers.
Yeah,
Okay.
they won.
Okay. Well,
So what do they have? What do they have left on the schedule?
that's what I'm saying. So
they've got the Vikings, critical next
Yeah.
Monday. They've got the Niners again. That's a win. They've got the Chiefs. That's a loss, and then the Cardinals. That's a win. So
No,
they're good for 2-2, which would put them at 9-7, maybe even 3-1.
yeah,
Right? They could.
the Vikings are beatable right now.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps it up for the NFC.
Yeah, there's really not much else there.
The Saints should win their division. The Rams already won their division. The Bears
The Saints
will
are up,
probably
The Saints are up 4 with 4 to play.
Yeah.
So.
the Bears will probably. So I guess the only division is the NFC least,
Yeah.
right?
The Bears look like they're going to win their division. They're 8-4, followed by the Vikings at 6-5-1. So they've got a 1.5 game lead with 4 to play.
Unless the Bears just shit the bed and
And what do they have left on the schedule? I mean,
nothing but division games, I'm sure.
so they've got the Rams, that's a loss. The Packers, that's a win. The Niners, that's a win. The Vikings. They could lose to the Packers if now Aaron Rodgers is all about playing football again.
Yeah. It's actually they play the Rams on. They play the Rams on. Bless you.
Thank you.
They play the Rams on primetime.
Oh, yeah. The Rams
Sunday
are
night.
must-watch TV at this point. So, yeah, the NFC looks eerily done.
Yeah. Surprisingly.
If we go over to the AFC, the biggest story in the AFC wasn't on the field. It didn't even happen on Sunday. It happened on...
in February, like 9 months ago.
It happened... Well, the genesis of the story, as I like to say, happened in February, but the story this week was on Friday, I think?
Yeah, Friday.
Kareem Hunt. When will these guys learn?
I mean, it's 2018 and they haven't, so they won't ever.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, don't put your hands on a woman. Period. I don't care what she said.
Yeah.
Does no one teach these guys the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me? I mean, come on. You're a grown-ass man. You're going to get pissed off because of something a pregnant woman said to you?
Huh?
Such that you're going to have to push her and kick her? Come on, man. Grow up.
Yeah, it's no excuse for that. And I just don't get why. I mean, everyone's in the wrong here. You're going to tell me the NFL couldn't get the video? You're going to tell me the Chiefs couldn't have investigated this a little further when they had the chance?
Well, in defense of the Chiefs, there's a policy on how to handle these matters with the NFL. And the NFL has said that when these matters come up, the team does not do the investigation.
Right.
The NFL will do the investigation because they don't want it to look like the team is going to do any kind of preferential treatment for a star player like Kareem Hunt in this case. So I think the Chiefs are, in my opinion, in the clear. Right? As soon as the tape became public, they cut ties with him. They said, he lied to us. The tape is terrible. We're out. We're out of the Kareem Hunt business. So my hat's off to them for doing that. My real problem is with the NFL. The NFL, they're saying that they're going to take over these investigations. They're saying that they're the ones that are going to do the investigating when this kind of stuff comes to light. And they did. But yet they never saw the tape, according to them. Mm-hmm. They never talked to Kareem Hunt, according to them. They never talked to the victim, according to them. Now, if I try to be an NFL guy, right? If I really try, I can give them a pass for not talking to the victim, right?
Okay.
Maybe they tried. She said, I want no part of it. They didn't pursue it. Okay. They're not the law. They can't make her testify, right? I can give them a pass on the tape, right? The police didn't even look at the tape. It was sitting, the hotel didn't want to become involved. They didn't want to. Okay, I give them a pass there. How do you not talk to Kareem Hunt? Mm-hmm. You have all the authority in the world over that guy, right?
Right, but he lied. He probably would have lied about it.
But still, right? I'm not saying that the result would have been different. My point is, have they gone through the proper process? Did they learn their lesson from the Ray Rice thing? Are they handling these situations appropriately? And when those three things don't happen, and even if I try to be an NFL guy, even if I want to come to the conclusion that they do the right thing, that they are a good entity, and that they have learned their lesson and know how to handle these situations, I can give them a pass for two. But the third one, come on. What are they doing? Who's running that show?
You know what I want to know?
Because that guy needs to get fired.
You know what I want to know? Why is it that it takes 9 months to put this video out?
Well,
right? I mean,
well, here's the thing about that. I understand your question. Let me explain. This case was done and dusted back in March. It was over, right?
It was never a case.
The incident was done in March, because what happened is, in February, the Chiefs were notified that Kareem Hunt was involved in an incident that required police attention at a hotel, blah, 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 right?
Right.
The police showed up. They talked to everybody. They felt, it's just a misdemeanor. There's nothing here. They never even asked to see the tape. So the tape has been archived somewhere. Someone had it, right? Some hotel employee thought, I'm going to keep it and get Kareem Hunt to autograph it for me one day or whatever. Right? Or it just sat out there and no one looked at it. The NFL did their investigation, and whatever that investigation entailed, because apparently they didn't talk to anyone. Mm. So the incident was wrapped up and filed away back in March. It's just that now somehow TMZ got their hands on this video. My guess is someone wanted some money.
Yeah.
Had access to the tape and cashed it in right before the holidays.
Wonder how much that video cost.
From what I've heard, TMZ pays a pretty penny for stuff like that.
Damn.
For scandalous stuff like that.
I wonder how much.
They get us to talk about it. $50,000? I mean, if Mike McCarthy has some kind of video, he might think about calling TMZ now that he's out of a job. Right? I mean, hey, that get him through the Christmas season so he can buy his family Christmas presents.
Some gifts.
Yeah. But what a terrible distraction for the Chiefs, who are having a wonderful season.
But they made the right call. For on the field purposes. I mean, you don't want this to linger, because there's probably still going to be questions, but not as much if you would have kept him on the team. So now that he's off the team, you'll probably get questions this week, next week, but it'll die down eventually, and that'll be something for the NFL to handle.
And quite frankly, perfect timing, right? Because they had to play the Raiders this week, right? So they probably got questions this week. They're probably going to get questions after this game. Yeah. But now it's a Kareem Hunt issue. It's not a Chiefs issue. They're
no longer connected in any way, shape, or form. So they were. Now, does he doesn't get a Super Bowl ring, right? If they win it,
I I don't know.
No, right? Because he was released.
Yeah, but sometimes guys that played during the season get a ring.
Now, he contributed on the field.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If I know in the NBA they do it where if some guy signs on for a 10-day contract and then doesn't stay with the team and they go on to win the championship, they give him a ring.
I wouldn't give him shit.
In baseball, it happens. I mean, it's their call. I think the team. I think it's something that the team ends up voting on, like the players and stuff. And more often than not, they'll give him something, right? Now, he probably won't be entitled to a winner's share or a part of the winner's purse.
Right. No, I'm sure not.
But a ring, maybe so. I don't know.
Well,
he's going to need... this is interesting now because with Ray Rice, once the tape came out, Ray Rice's career was over. But Ray Rice's career was pretty much over.
Yeah, it was on the decline, right?
Right.
He was on the back nine.
Right. It was easier to stay away from him. What about Kareem Hunt? Kareem Hunt's a young guy. He's in his second season. He's still got some miles left on him.
I'd sign him.
You would?
I would, yeah, absolutely.
You don't think it would be too much of a distraction?
Yeah, for the first few weeks, I'm sure it would be.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do it.
I mean, if he's shown me that he's paid his dues and done whatever the penalty is going to be, I mean...
Let's say he gets suspended for...
I mean, Ray Caruso's getting a second chance at life.
At life, but not at the NFL.
Right, because he's banned from the NFL, right? He's not eligible, like... I mean, besides the fact that he's like 40-something probably, but even if he was... He's not eligible to play again.
I don't know that he got a lifetime ban.
No?
It's not like he's Pete Rose.
Well, I mean...
I don't know. I think...
I mean, think about it. 2 years down the line, if he's still going to be like 25 years old, you wouldn't take a chance on him?
No. Look, football is the ultimate team sport. And you can't have that distraction. Look at what the Le'Veon Bell thing did to the Steelers earlier this season. And that was nothing by comparison.
Right.
But the fact that they had to talk about it every week, that team was not focused and did not play well. Right?
Well, I mean, look, the Cowboys go and sign these players that have domestic violence issues. Greg Hardy, the Redskins just signed Reuben Foster, who got released and signed the same week, days apart. So I don't know if that speaks on the franchise's morals, but they don't care. I don't think that stuff they really care about. I mean, I don't know why the hell you would sign Reuben Foster anyway. He hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
But
the thing that baffles me is Tim Tebow can't get a job in the NFL. And part of the reason he can't get a job is because he is such a distraction. He is such a polarizing figure. The minute he comes in, even if it's just to be your backup, it starts to shake the ground for the starter and things start to go haywire. And that's a good guy. Oh. And we can't... Because you can't tell me he's not one of the best 64 quarterbacks on the planet.
I can't tell you that. He's not that good.
He's one of the best 64. There are not 64 quarterbacks on this planet that are better than him. He is a backup. Okay. And he's a damn good one.
Just because he would be the 64th best doesn't make him that great. He would be a third string. He would be a third string on any team.
But my point is, he's at least good enough to be a backup. Right. Yet no one will touch him because he's a polarizing figure for some ungodly reason.
Or some guy named Kaepernick. Nobody will touch him either.
Right? There's another guy. And why won't they touch him? Because the attention is ridiculous.
Because he does not have a domestic violence case on his resume. That's why. If he did, he'd probably have a job. If Kaepernick chose not to kneel and he had a domestic violence case, he would have a job.
Maybe. Part of that, too, is the position, right? Reuben Foster, a linebacker, so not as much attention, right? Running back gets more attention than a linebacker. Quarterback gets way more attention. So maybe that's part of it, too. But I don't know. I don't want to say I hope no one signs him, but I hope no one signs him.
You just said.
I know. I don't want to be that way, but I really don't. Unless I hear something incredibly contrite about the guy. But, I mean, he just... We got to cut that shit out.
Oh, yeah, but
Guys got to cut that shit out.
Look, if he's 2 years removed and he's paid his dues and has done what is asked of him to do, then, I guess...
How long do you think he gets suspended?
Well, shit, Zeke got 6 games for a video that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
He's got to get... It's got to be no less than 10 games.
I can't...
I don't think he gets a year.
I think he's going to get a season.
I don't think he does.
I think he's going to get a season. Yeah, I mean, if Elliott got 6
games...
games...
Wait. He gets a season, and then... What's it called? Not protest.
Appeal.
Appeals, and it gets descended to what? 8 games?
No, they won't
10
cut
games?
it in half. They'll cut it to... if he gets a season and the appeal goes his way, they'll cut it to 12, maybe? Man, it's... Damn. And I mean... Josh Gordon got a bunch of time for smoking weed.
Yeah.
Not nearly as bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, well.
I'm not a weed guy, but smoking weed is not...
He's not hurting anybody but himself.
Exactly. All he's doing is getting the munchies and putting on weight to make himself slower. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
man.
It's just amazing. Anyway,
well, either way,
so much for the Positive Sports Podcast, as we talked about one of the most negative issues we've had this season.
Yeah, but it's an ongoing issue that the NFL has that I think we can address it all we want. The NFL won't address it because they keep letting it happen.
They need to fix it. Well, they need to. Yeah, they need a very, very firm stand.
Did the Chiefs win today?
Yeah.
So they 1-0 with Kareem Hunt.
Without.
They still got a decent team. And when you look at their team, man, I mean, they got weapons
everywhere.
But the defense has been playing all right.
He was the key to their running attack.
Yeah, but you can always...
Yeah, they're still good.
Now, they should go sign Le'Veon Bell.
No, well, they're going to be in the market for him, right?
Oh, my God. That would be sick.
That's a lot of offense. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but all that offense wasn't able to beat the Rams on Monday night 2 weeks ago when they scored like 70 points.
You know, it was funny, right? They talked about how this Rams-Chiefs thing was the new wave of football, and then Thursday night you get a 13-10 football game.
Which I hate.
So much for the new wave of football.
Yeah, which I hate that wave, by the way. I don't
Which one?
The college football scoring. I don't want to watch a 52-50 game.
I don't know.
Not my cup of tea.
I think it is entertaining in a way.
Yeah.
That video game feel sometimes. But I still want to see good defense as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I just want to watch football.
Yeah,
I don't like it all.
The Chiefs would be all right. I think. They still have the Chargers breathing down their necks. Chargers are playing the Steelers tonight.
Right. If they win, they'll only be a game behind.
With still one left to play against each other.
And the Steelers are...
I'm surprised the Chargers are this good.
I am too.
Because their defense, they were getting banged up way before, like, in training camp.
Yeah, well, Bosa, who's been banged up his entire career.
Their cornerbacks, too.
Yeah.
The Texans won again today. They beat the...
Browns.
The Doodoo Browns.
9 in a row.
I'm telling you, man, the Texans...
And they look good today.
Their run game is what's helping them, I think. Since they played,
they're doing everything.
But their run game wasn't really out there, right? Because it was so much of Watson and Hopkins. But since that game against the Dolphins on Thursday night, their run game really has taken off.
Yeah, no. But my point is, I think they're a complete offense right now. I mean, they're running, they're throwing. Watson is dangerous. With his arm and his legs. I mean, it's just they're hitting on all cylinders. The defense is playing well.
I don't think we've seen Watt and Clowney really live up to their potential this season. I don't think they've. I mean, they play 100%, but I feel like we really haven't seen.
You think there's more upside to that tandem?
We haven't seen those two control the game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'd agree with that.
Not the game, but the other team's offense.
Right. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
They're very good.
So that's scary. If we haven't seen that,
yeah,
that's scary.
The Ravens won again. They beat Atlanta. That's good. Now Joe Flacco did throw some this week, but still wasn't ready to play.
Right.
That looks like the Lamar Jackson show to me.
Did he come back in? Because I read that he was concussion, and they had to put RG3 in there.
Oh my god!
So I don't know if he finished the game.
No, he
or not.
did.
He did.
He
okay.
did. Don't let that be the case.
So they're 2-0 with Lamar starting.
3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
Holy, wow.
I mean, I think that's going to be the Lamar Jackson show going forward. I think Flacco has lost his job.
Quite possibly, man.
Look, he wasn't lighting up the scoreboard before that. So, he ever since his Super Bowl run, he's been, maybe slightly above average quarterback. He hasn't been a real, gonna get me deep into the playoffs.
They've won 3 in a row. At Chiefs, Buccaneers, at Chargers versus Browns.
It's tough, but doable.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna make it in the AFC.
Yeah, they could.
I mean, there's not much other than the chart. If you're looking at wild cards, right? Because you got your division leaders, the Patriots. Nothing else coming from the East. You got the Steelers and the Ravens that we're talking about. Oh, and the surprise team of 2018, the Bengals at 5-7.
Oh man, don't remind me.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to bring that up.
That
wasn't in the notes.
They have issues.
But that's your surprise team of 2018.
Surprise! They suck again.
I love giving you a hard time because your Super Bowl pick's looking really good. So I like to give you a hard time about something.
I expected more, but hey.
And then in the South, you've got the Texans and pretty much no one else.
Now
the Jaguars have fixed their offensive issues, right? They fixed them. They got rid of Blake Bortles, or they didn't get rid of him. They benched him.
Right. Got rid of the offensive coordinator.
Fired the offensive coordinator. Benched Blake Bortles. Today, they win.
And I think they fixed their defensive issues. They pitched the shutout.
Yeah. So
that's a bad loss for the Colts because they were playing so good. All they had to score was
a touchdown,
3 field goals, a touchdown. Something. I mean that's a bad loss for them. That might keep them out of the playoffs. The team that has surprised me and has also won 3 in a row, and they play the 49ers, the Browns, the Raiders, the Chargers. That looks like 3 out of 4 to me.
Yeah.
Are the Broncos.
The Broncos are at 6-6. They could make a late run.
They beat the Chargers, they beat the Steelers, and they beat the Bengals their past 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean...
they have been looking good.
They're playing well. And they're starting...
I'm still not sold on that team, but...
But they're running the ball lately pretty well.
Yeah, but
they can sneak in there is what I'm saying.
They're a game behind. So they're a game behind the Ravens.
They're not far, bro.
Yeah, no, it's not far at all. Could happen.
I mean, look at the teams in between them. Dolphins. Do you see them hanging around?
Well, the Dolphins are 8-8 at best.
And the Colts are between the Ravens and the Broncos.
So yeah, it's the Ravens and then those 3. Oh, and the Titans, who lost to the Jets today.
That's another bad loss.
That's not a good look. When you're making a playoff run,
yeah.
and the Jets are on the schedule, you probably ought to win that one.
Yeah, and that's what keeps you out of the playoffs sometimes, right?
You're right. It's losing those silly games, losing those games that look so winnable.
That's what separates the playoff teams or elite teams from the...
Yeah. Are you still sticking with the Chiefs are head and shoulders the best team in the AFC? Head and shoulders better than anyone else in the AFC.
Let's see. Their record is 10-2, and the Patriots' record is 9-3. Absolutely.
1 game difference.
But the head and shoulders team doesn't always necessarily win it all, because the Texans are still going to the Super Bowl. So
I see your point. I see. Very good.
No, they're still heads above everyone in the AFC because they're a top.
So it's shrinking.
Well,
It's shrinking, even though the team right below them beat them.
Yeah, I don't trust the Patriots.
They're looking good. They're playing good football.
Yeah, they're looking good, but
You just don't like them.
I don't. And I don't like the fact that Tom Brady got 1,000 yards today. It took him 200 and something games. And then in the fourth quarter, all you got to do is kneel down. This bozo kneels forward to not lose a yard. What a what a biatch. That's all I got to say about that. I didn't like that at all. And if it would have been any other quarterback, you would have said, "Oh, he's a dick." What? You know what? Tom Brady has turned into a stat patter at 41 years old. What a sissy move. I didn't like that at all. That's my negative for today.
What do you call it? The funny part about that was when he knelt down, he pointed at the spot so the referee would put it there and not put it 1 yard back where they normally put it.
Even more of a dick.
He's just trying to get the spot, right?
No.
You don't know that that's why he did it. You know what it makes me wonder?
Come on.
Many games as many
Come on.
As many games as the Patriots have won, how many yards has he lost on kneel downs over the years?
The Chiefs are head and shoulders above the Patriots.
What does that have to do with Tom Brady and
everything?
His rushing ability.
Everything.
How many years has he been in the league now? 18, 19?
Something like that.
Took him that long to get to 1,000. That's incredible when you think about it.
Huh?
200 games, he's averaging 5 yards a game.
5 yards a
game.
game.
Kareem Hunt was averaging like 5 yards a carry. Good stuff, man. The NFL is fun as always. We're getting really down to crunch time before we get to these playoffs.
Nah, go ahead. I'll leave it for another time.
Speaking of playoffs, the NCAA Final Four is set, and we have Alabama at 1 against Oklahoma at 4.
Okay.
Clemson at 2 against Notre Dame at 3. Thoughts?
My thoughts are that
How about a thought?
Okay, my thought is that the regular season of college football doesn't matter. That's my thought.
I love it because every week is a playoff for most teams. For most teams, it's a playoff. You lose one game and you're pretty much done.
It's a remember in high school when your classmates would vote who class clown. It's a popularity contest. That's all it is.
Yeah, there is a little bit of feeling about that.
But I do think they got the right 4 teams in there. Actually,
you have no problems?
Actually, I do have a problem.
Who?
Central Florida. Central Florida needs to get some props. They will get some props later on, but they need to be in that playoff. Either that, or now I'm going to be that guy that says expand it to 16 teams.
Don't.
I'm going to be that guy.
Oh, please don't.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
2 years in a row of undefeatedness. I love that word, undefeatedness. I just made that up, actually.
Perfection.
2 seasons, bro.
Yeah, look, I agree with you in the sense that it is a bit of a popularity contest. There's just so much love for the SEC that before the season starts, the preseason polls really cloud this thing and really make it crappy. Because before the season starts, you get these polls that come out. Everybody loves the SEC. They put 6 teams in the top 25.
Right.
And then all year, if they lose amongst themselves, well, they lost to a top 25 team, right? And then you have other conferences like the Pac-12 who only gets 2 teams in. And if you lose to a team that's just outside the top 25, well, you lost to an unranked team. You suck. Washington's just not that good. And it's not fair. It's because it creates a barrier to entry for those other teams like Central Florida. And now I don't agree that they should be in the playoff, but it creates a barrier for them to win and get in. It's like, remember a few years ago, actually more than a few years ago, before we had the BCS, when there were 3 teams that were undefeated,
right,
and one of them got shut out, and it was Auburn. Why? Because preseason, everyone thought Auburn sucked, so they weren't ranked. So as the teams above them lost, they moved up, but 2 teams didn't lose, and they stayed right behind them. And why? Just because those 2 teams were just thought of more highly before the season started, not during the season.
Right.
Before the season even started, they were ranked higher, so they stayed above. And that's, to me, that's bullshit. And that's the bad thing about the system that we have now. In a system where you don't play everyone and you don't have an expanded playoff, the preseason rankings just mean entirely too much.
I think for that sole reason, you're going to get an expansion of the playoffs.
Oh, they're going to expand it again.
Yeah.
I agree. They're not going to expand it because of us pontificating about how wrong it is or the selection. They're going to expand it because it's going to be more dollars.
Yeah, right. And that's all they care about
at the end of the day. I mean, the NCAA, you can take that C out and put a $sign in there and it looked just about the same.
So it's Alabama against Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Notre Dame and
Clemson.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean,
we can talk more about it as we get closer.
Besides not caring, I'll leave a prediction for
later on.
A few weeks from now.
Let's do that.
But I think they got it right. Overall, I think those are the right 4 teams.
No problem with Ohio State not getting it, with Georgia not getting it, with UCF not getting it. You've already said UCF you think is wrong, but does Ohio State and Georgia have an argument? Ohio State lost to Purdue. They're the Big Ten champions. Georgia lost twice, once to Alabama, who's in the top 4. And then the other loss is to, I don't remember who.
The only one-loss team between those 4 is Oklahoma.
Right. And they avenged their loss because they lost to Texas during the season. They met up again in the Big 12 championship game, and they beat them.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just definitely not Georgia with 2 losses.
Yeah. You had some people making the argument because they almost beat Alabama. And of course,
and the conference that they play in.
And they play in they play in the NFC North or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So
I'm cool with that, I guess.
Yeah, me too. And I'm excited to see it. I think I think it'll be interesting to see Oklahoma and Alabama, and I think Clemson Notre Dame is going to be a hell of a game. Notre Dame's been flying under the radar all year, which is kind of weird to say for a team that ended up ranked 3rd and undefeated. But and also to say that a Notre Dame team flies under the radar is bizarre in and of itself, right? Because they've got their own network for crying out loud. But yeah, that's probably the quietest undefeated 3rd-ranked team that's in the playoff ever. Can't wait to see it, bro.
Yeah?
Can't wait to see it, my man. You got anything else?
No.
Shall we wrap this up?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
I got to go catch the Steelers-Chargers game. Who do you got?
I think the Steelers are going to win.
You think so?
Yeah. I am just not sold on the Chargers.
Yeah?
And I like the Steelers. Plus, they played poorly last week, so I think they're going to bounce back.
I think now that the Steelers know Bell is not going to play for them this year, I think Connor's not just going to chillax. I mean, he knows that's his job.
Yeah, but nah, in the NFL where you can get cut at the drop of a hat. And the NFL is not like baseball. You get cut, you don't get paid.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a little bit different. They don't have those motivation issues, I don't think.
Yeah.
Quite like they do in other sports. Well, as always, folks, hope you've enjoyed our show. If you want to get a hold of us or send your comments into the show, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com. positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of me, feel free to do so via Twitter @emontana21.
Or on Twitter @BrooklynGacho8 to get in contact with me.
There you go. And we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. 49 in the books. As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.